Good times, good times. Welcome to Creator Toolbox. This is a show brought to you by the ServiceNow Developer Program, where we demo all the cool new ServiceNow features for your and every developer's toolbox. In the top right-hand corner, you'll see that we are in the middle of our Xanadu release. So be sure to check out our content calendar at devlink.sn/Xanadu. Now, before we jump into our content, let's do some introductions. I am Kristy Merriam, Senior Developer Advocate, and I'm going to pass it off to my right.
Hey everyone, my name is Pranav Bhagat and I'm also Senior Developer Advocate here at ServiceNow. Sorry about my voice. It's a bit low because I have a little throat infection. And you can see I'm also in a new place altogether. So this is my studio. In a couple of days, you will see a little better view. Right now, it's all packed. But I've been into ServiceNow for like last 2 years and just finished my 2 year university in November. And that's pretty much about me. And I'm going to pass it to Jingfei.
Yay! Hi everybody. My name is Jingfei Chen. I'm the principal product manager in ServiceNow. My product are Flow Designer and Flow Generation. I've joined ServiceNow about 2 years ago, and before I joined, I was actually a customer, so I was one of you. So exciting to be here and tell you all about Flow Generation.
Excellent. All right, Jingfei. Well, with that being said, what are we going to talk about today, Jingfei? What are you going to show us today?
So I will be talking about the Now Assist Flow Generation. That's one of the Creator capability. I have a cool demo for you. I will show you a little bit of also on the roadmap as well of what you can expect in the future. So yeah, there's a lot to come.
Excellent. Okay, well, let's get right into it.
Yeah, let me present. You can see my screen, right? Let me present.
I don't think we're in presenting mode yet.
But you can see my screen.
We see. There you go.
There we
Yes,
go.
we
Okay.
got it.
All right. Cool. Let's get into it. So, as usual, safe harbor notice. This presentation may contain forward-looking statement and should not be relied upon for your purchasing decisions. So, okay, flow generation and flow recommendation are the two capabilities as part of Now Assist Creator offering. So flow generation refers to taking a plain English requirement, so from the text, and turn that into a flow. So I will show you a demo of how that works and what can you do with it. But it refers to the initial creation of the flow. Whereas flow recommendation is, as you're building the flow, we're providing you recommendation as it get built with the best action flow logic Subflow to use. So it's like a co-pilot experience that go with you as you're building the flow, like boom, 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 from the top to bottom. Both product use large language model as the technology behind the scene. And then I will tell you a little bit more about the training, the retrieval, how we use it, and also the technology of it. So without further, I want to tell you a little bit of our journey so far. So we did our initial launch in the later half of the 2023, so last year. And so we were the first Creator capabilities out there, one of the first in the platform. And then we spent the rest of this year, so the entire 2024, trying to improve the quality of it, make it ready to scale. So this includes adding RAG, retrieval augmented generation, so that the generation itself is context aware and actually know your environment and know your context. I will have a demo to showcase that as well. We also did a lot of work to focus on the quality, completeness, and usefulness, so that not only the generated flow is accurate, it's also going to be providing inspiration and useful for you. I will show you a little demo of that as well. So without further ado, I can't wait. Let's get into the demo.
Yes.
Let me bring.
That's one of my favorite part. Like when slides are, we don't have too many slides and more
Yeah,
demo.
yeah. It's like no more slide. I can't hold slide anymore. Let's do the demo. It's easier.
Show the people what they want. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yes. Okay, so the place you actually trigger flow generation is as usual as you're building a new flow. So you're in Workflow Studio, and then you're clicking on New, and then you see the flow as an option. So if you want, you can still build on your own and build from scratch, but we show you this string that it provides some a field for you to enter the text direction if you want to use analysis. So let me just do demo. Today is November 27th. Yeah, here we go. For the purpose of this demo, if you don't know what to prompt and what to write, we did give you a few examples. So if you just click on try an example, it circulates through a few examples that we vetted and will be working really well with LLM. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to be using the first example. However, before I use the full sentence, let's say you first try AI, you're skeptical of what it can do. I'm not going to type a whole article. I'm just going to type the first sentence. Let's see what it can do. So it says, create a flow that runs every day at midnight. Let's see. So it's supposed to only get me a trigger with this little short sentence. It should get me a daily trigger. So you see how on the preview, we give you, so the LLM is first thinking, and then it set, I don't know if you catch that, it set the trigger of daily, and then it filled the specific time, so at midnight, so it's 0000. And then it also give you an annotation saying, hey, we chose the daily trigger because this is the annotation, this is we understood from the prompt. So it's synthesizing, understanding, making sense of the requirement, and then picking the best trigger or action or whatever for you. Let's try a little bit of an experiment. I'm gonna just, add some junk. Let's see if it's able to ignore that. Hopefully. Oh, okay, so it got the same thing. So it was able to ignore the junk, and that's what we did in using the power of Now LLM. So if you try with, ChatGPT, it might be also reading this junk and give you something else. So there might be like error prompting for like just, not giving you the best result. But because we use fine-tuning, we use Now LLM behind the scenes. So the model is owned by ServiceNow. It's fine-tuned using the data also owned by ServiceNow, not using your data. And therefore, we did a lot of these error handling saying that, hey, if it prompts something that doesn't make sense to be a flow, we actually ignore those kind of things. So next demo, I'm actually going to try this whole sentence and show you maybe the happy path. So the prompt actually read, you know what, I'm going to click generate, and then I'll read this. And then find all the newly created problem records for the past day. So there should be like some sort of a lookup records, and then iterate over them. So there should be a for each loop. So you see how first it generates the outline of the flow. And if you notice that it's doing what we call streaming effect, it's filling in the detail into the skeleton step by step from the top to bottom. I don't know if you saw that little indicator. Yeah, so it's basically getting you the skeleton and also filling in each component using what's already out there, using the annotation that got distributed across all the components. So this way, it's just like how you build the flow as a human being. You probably need to go out and look for, oh, I need to, first fill the first component, and then use the output of the lookup record into the second component, which is the for each loop. So I need to build a flow from top to bottom as a human. Then LLM also needs to build a flow from top to bottom, one at a time. Let me pause here. Any question?
So, Jingfei, I have a question. So you mean like it's filling all the table, like the problem table and everything?
Yeah.
Because initially, like, sorry.
Exactly. The previous version, sorry to cut you, but I know what you're trying to get into. So the previous versions is only staying at the skeleton, right? Only staying on the outline. So it will just stay as a lookup records and doesn't really go into detail. But we did this streaming effect to filling the name of the table. So it's actually problem table. So it actually go out and retrieve and find out, hey, you have a problem table. And then it's going to come back and filling the detail. Lookup record should be on problem. It also filling the condition. So find all the newly created problem for the past day. So interpret that condition as in time, created time after the last day 000 midnight. So it's like it's actually synthesizing the requirement and then filling out the condition, the data pill, all of that. Yes.
Love that. I love that. I
Love
think
it.
that's been most people's biggest barrier from using flow generation is that it
For
was
sure.
just generating that skeleton. And now to see it filling in all the details, that's amazing. Love it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
And
a great improvement.
Mhm, mhm.
Jingfei, like we need to be in patch 3, right, to try this thing? Or anyone, like if they update like now says for creators, they also get it.
It's part of the November, the latest November release that just released November, I believe 7th. I think it's patch 2 of Xanadu, I think.
Patch two.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So this is the team put a lot of work to get this to where it is today. But I want to also show you how flexible and how comprehensive this can go. So you notice the last part of the sentence. It says then send notification to the group. We didn't specify send what notification. So the LLM won't know too much detail about that. And so it just stays at the surface of saying send notification. But let me try to be a little cruel today and then show you what LLM is also able to do. So in this environment, I want to tell you there are a lot of action and spoke installed in this particular environment. And for example, there is something called add chat member. This is part of OMI experience standard features that I don't know too much about this application, but I don't think this is a core action that every instance will have. Okay, so maybe only specific to this instance. Last night, I also added another action called CI/CD action. This action itself is empty, but just for the sake of demo, we're using the title. So I'm trying to show if I change the last part of the sentence and then actually trying to use those actions, is it able to use whatever is only available for me? So let me do change the last sentence to say, and then add a chat member. I think it was called chat. Maybe there's no, let's just be specific and be like exactly on the dot. Hopefully it's able to get that.
And till the time it's loading, I really love that the annotations and the comment it adds. Even if it's like it's not able to fill it, like we can
Mhm.
just go directly and just see what's going on. So this is something I love the most. And I think Chuck also posted that same comment.
Yeah, he's a fan too. He's a fan. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the fact that because once the flow start to get filled out, hopefully you'll be investigating and verifying if the generation is correct. You won't notice. It's just keep working its way down as you were reviewing maybe the top part of the flow. So it's not taking all the time and letting you wait until everything finished to show you. Like we want to show you as much as we know, and then want to show you as soon as we have things. So I changed the last part of the sentence to add chat member. It did get that, so it retrieved information from the instance. But I had to be very specific in that scenario. Let me just be a little bit more crude today. I want to use the CI/CD action, but I'm gonna say trigger instead of CI/CD action. I'm gonna just be CI/CD workflow. So you notice how my action is called CI/CD action, but I'm gonna be a little bit different and just be a little bit testing the boundary of
Trying to
LLM.
throw it off.
Yes, I'm trying to break this down and see where are the boundaries and limitations. So okay, it actually got CI/CD action. So it's not a string to string, purely string comparison. It's actually using a technology called AI search. So it's able to semantically understand, hey, you probably meant this CI/CD action. So I'm gonna try and build this for you. So it did got that correctly. Yay. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll show you a different example. I think we had killed this example too much. Maybe I'll show you a different one. And so that if the prompt is kind of long, this one has a parallel, do the following in parallel. First, apply change approval policy, blah, blah, blah. There's some if statement and then update. Yeah, so this is a relatively large flow. And you see the generation is larger as well. But because we're having the streaming step-by-step filling in the flow. So you see that it's filling in, it's right here doing its thing at here. And then it's gonna go down the sequence one at a time. So after this one is working on this one. But you don't have to watch it all the way to the bottom. You can just already like figuring out, hey, if the generation is on this way or not.
So, Jingfei, I have a question. Like all this information is getting filled. Is there can we double click on it just to see what it's selected, or do we need to like just save it and then we can see it?
Yeah, so for now, you have to save, you have to click and edit, which I will do. Actually, you know what? Let me do it. You need to actually click and edit to actually looking at all the detail. For example, this one has the condition fill out, but if the condition was wrong, or if you need to add additional condition, you actually need to move it to the canvas and then keep adding more information. This is an area of improvement. We're trying to make sure on the preview itself, we tell you everything that LLM has done so that you don't need to move to the canvas to know all of it. But I did want to show you, in case you move to the canvas and then you want to get back to the prompt, you can click on property. And then this is the prompt that was, at last that generated this flow.
Very cool. Is there anything coming, and maybe this is something that you're going to cover in a minute, so I apologize, but is there anything coming in the future that allows you to use GenAI to modify an existing flow after it's been created?
This is also in our roadmap. That's of what's coming up. And so we are, the flow recommendation will be part of it. So I don't have it in this environment, but usually like as I'm clicking in add new action or clicking in the add right here in the middle or at the end, it will show me the recommendation. So as I'm continuously building the flow, I should also have some GenAI help there.
Yep. I was more thinking like if I wanted to kind of revamp how the flow was going, like certain part of the flow, could I give it a prompt to tell it to do something else or add, something to it? Yeah.
That's on our roadmap. That's it's like partial generation. We're thinking, and this is a little bit of a forward-looking statement.
Safe harbor, got it. We need like a safe harbor, like light that flashes somewhere.
Bling,
yes. Yeah.
We're thinking something like, hey, maybe you want to generate, like if you need to type a sentence to generate only one component, that's a little bit of overkill. So maybe like if I want to type a whole thing and then that generate maybe like for a whole if statement somewhere here, and then a error handling, maybe a try catch. So it's going to be partially generating part of the flow. So that's what we're thinking. We're even thinking a different UI to like, just drag and select an area and then maybe refactoring that area. It's all on the roadmap. The roadmap is very long.
Okay. We had a question that I think is answered just by autosave, but Kevin was asking, if you try to leave before you save the flow, will it prompt you to save it before you leave the page? And I think the answer is yes, because we have autosave these days, right?
Yes. So this environment doesn't have the latest, and so you still see the save button, but by the time actually this will be released in Xanadu, so you will still need to save. But once we have the latest version in Zurich, all the autosave will be in place. And also when I'm in the preview at here, for example, if I'm just generating something and then if I click on cancel, it's actually going to ask me, hey, do you want to save or do you want to just discard?
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And a big safe harbor notice.
Right. Another one. Another flashing
another
light.
one.
Safe harbor.
Yes. Continuing my demo, I also have something else to show you. Okay, so this is second round. All right, so in reality, you're probably not gonna create a flow on problem. Problem is a application that we're shipping out to you. It's pretty flashed out. You're probably not gonna customize problem too much. So I want to show you a feature that we introduced to help you creating a flow on something that the flow generation has never seen before. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm actually going to show you a table structure. There is a module. Actually, there's a module inside of this environment. It's called strategic priorities. Okay. I just want to show you the name of the table is called SNGF strategy. This is a table that the LLM that we fine-tuned has never seen before. It has some fields called parent, start date, end date. These are datetime field. It also has a field called type with, different choices of a type. So this is a choice. Underneath the strategic priority, there is a table called goal. And so it's a one-to-many relationship between strategic priority and goals, right? And so I can create multiple goals. Each one of the goal will have a parent strategic priority, and the name of the table goal is SNGF goal. Okay, so this is the table structure. This is the application I'm going to be building Flow up on. And this is something that the LLM has never seen. So because LLM has never seen this, and if you want to be super, super accurate about the table reference, what you can do is we introduce a feature called hashtag. So you can say strategic priority here. This is the one. So it's like telling LLM, hey, here is something that's probably new for you. And by the way, you don't need to look everywhere and just search the Wild West of all the tables out there. I already know the table and I'm willing to tell you so that you can be exact, correct, and I'm giving you a starting point. So let me also add the table for Go. And this is going to be useful also when you have multiple tables with the same name. So if I just simply use Go, it might choose the wrong Go. But for this application, I'm actually meaning this Go, not the other Go. So I want to be very specific so that the generation is 100% accurate. Let's just try this out.
I'm going
I
to
love
echo
this
Chuck's
thing.
comment. Yes, hashtag feature. That's amazing. Love that.
IMP_user and sys_user. It always pick the
Yes.
other user table.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can imagine the LLM we train only know sys_user, right? So in case you want to build a flow on the other user, hashtag is for you.
So
That's
it's in the
amazing.
current November release
It's in the
already?
current November release. Yes. So that's what I mean by we're trying to make it comprehensive, make it very, very useful for you. As soon as I pick the hashtag, it's able to pick the SN_GF strategy. Sorry, maybe I should zoom in a little bit so you see everything. There we go. Okay, maybe that's too much. There we go. All right. So you see it's picking the correct table. It's then getting the type record or type field is key initiative. And you notice that there is, going back. There is a type field and the first choice is key initiative. So it's going out with the starting point you provided, looking up, hey, there is a table or there's a column called type. And within that type, there is a choice called key initiative. So it's going out and just looking for stuff as it's generated. This is the same process for you to create a flow as a human, same process for LLM to creating the flow. Keep going from there, you see how the if statement is getting. So start date is before the end date. So it's looking up the reference record from the data pail, start date before end date. And then it also look up the correct goal table because I told it so. And then it's using the data pail, getting the parent, etc. Enter the strategic priority if no goal exists. So, okay, so the lookup record for 3 count is 0, send owner an email. Okay, what's the final send email? I want to, as comparison, maybe just show you the same thing without hashtag. Priority. And then getting rid of this hashtag too. And just say go. Okay. I think that's the spelling. All right. So let's just see as a comparison without hashtag. Trying to break the LLM a little bit for you. Okay,
We're turning into a live coding happy hour.
yes. So you see how first it's not getting the correct. So it did say strategic priority, but that's actually not the name, the exact name of the table. So that's why when LLM is getting the mistake. And so you see without hashtag, it does have a error or room for mistake. It got go correctly. So I guess it just happened to pick the right goal. but the first one without hashtag, it didn't get the correct table. And because it didn't get the correct table, all these columns and the fields and choices, they're on that table, so it didn't really find them. So that's why getting the correct table is so critical to make the correct or generate the correct flow. That's why we give you a little bit of extra help to pick the correct table.
So we've added this hashtag capability to be able to reference specific tables when we do prompting. Is there any kind of like help text there? So if somebody's new to flow generation, maybe I missed it, sorry.
Yeah.
But is there going to be something there that tells people like, hey, use hashtags to reference tables or whatever other shortcuts that we're adding there?
Yep, I have something to show you, but just telling you.
Oh, look at that! There it is.
just
never mind me.
just reiterating on when hashtag will be useful. It's when there are multiple tables with the same label, so multiple goals using with the same label, and that's multiple tables. Or if the label or the underlying name of the table could be very confusing. So, giving you some example, I want to go to the tables and columns of this instance and just show you like what are some of and just show you some examples that hashtag will be useful. All right, it's a little bit slow. What's happening?
Really a live coding happy hour today.
Maybe we have
I feel like I need a drink.
Much.
Yeah.
We're breaking
tired of our shenanigans.
It's like it's
ignoring us now.
The day.
Yeah. This is too much.
I have a drink with me. I have a black coffee that I was drinking.
I have a little coffee back in my OG ServiceNow mug. So I need more. I need to fill it back up.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely killing this instance right now. But just show you, some of the tables. So things like this, because it says AD domain, and it says CMDB CI AD domain, is probably gonna get it. But examples such agreement, and then the underlying table name is called SLA, right? Actually, let's try this. Why not? Let's try this. Let's break this more. I'm going to say upon creation of a new agreement, then find its creation date. I'm just going to stay like that. Okay, so let's try this. Let's see if it's going to get SLA table. I don't think so, but let's see. Look, it actually got
different kind of agreement.
Yeah, different agreement. Adobe sign spoke agreement. Yeah, so this is when, as a human being, when I get such requirement, I probably need to clarify. It's like, what do you mean by agreement? Do you mean SLA? Do you mean Adobe sign agreement? So this is when I get confused and also LLM get confused. But if I try to use the hashtag here, I need to type it again. Agree. No, agreement. No, what happened to my typing today? Agreement. Here we go. So if I use a hashtag and be very specific, it even said new SLA. So SLA task creation. Okay. So it actually got the correct SLA. So that's because I'm being very specific and telling you to do, hey, look at this table. Don't look anywhere else. This is when the hashtag will be useful. Another example when hashtag will be useful, it's in this environment, there's something called purchasing task and also purchasing order. The name and the label of these two tables are very, very confusing. They look quite similar, right? This is called SN shop purchase order. This is called SN shop task. So this is another example when LLM could get confused. Let me just try that out for you so you see. I'm going to say, just without hashtag, the typing today is so brutal. Wait, what was it? Purchasing task. Here we go. Okay. So without hashtag, I don't think it's going to get the correct table because it might get confused between the two. It says SN shop purchase task. SN shop purchase. Actually, that's neither of them. Yeah, it did get confused. Yeah, so this is another example when hashtag is going to be useful. It's just when you're naming the table, you didn't know there's another table looks similar. Okay, so that's yep.
Does the hashtag work if you use actually the table name? So Chuck asked the question, like if I use hashtag sys_user, will it still find the user table and allow me to click on the user table? Like, is it searching both the label and the table name when I'm typing that in?
Right now it's not, but if I'm just searching user or using user as the query for the AI search, it's actually gonna give me all the. Actually, let's try this out. Why not? Let's try this out. Sys_user. Actually, it's doing that. However, it's we're seeing this. Yeah, we're seeing this environment contaminated with the text index table, and so it's not getting that.
What if you use the brackets, like the open bracket sys_? That's kind of a shortcut of how we used to look up tables now. Okay.
I don't think the bracket works.
If it would filter it better.
Yeah.
No,
user.
You're still getting the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
the bracket doesn't work.
That's a UI component, maybe. Just
Yeah.
But
so,
Jingfei, is there any other key characters? Because I think like hashtag is now a key character. Like kind of like we use it to select a table, but is there any other things, kind of special characters or something that we should take care while writing a prompt? Maybe they can trigger something else.
Right. I know what you mean. Those are currently not in, like we currently don't have it, but it's on the roadmap for us to expand the hashtag. So far it only supports the name of the table. But in the future, we want to expand the hashtag scope to, let's say, the name of the request. Right? So you can say, hey, I'm building the flow on this request, and that's the request name. Don't look anywhere else. This is the one.
Safe harbor.
No safe harbor. There's those lights again. Oh, nice. I love it. What about using, like, referencing actions or subflows or something like that?
Yeah,
use that.
Yeah, referencing subflow and action. You don't need to actually use hashtag. Okay. I think it might make sense for future roadmap. And again, safe harbor, but I showed you the demo earlier. It's able to just look at the action table, right? So you don't need to use hashtag. It's just when the table columns, it's a little bit more confusing.
I just know now we would never do this as a company, but sometimes we tend to name things similarly or the same. So it might be nice to be able to reference specific ones. And customers are able to create those themselves too. So there might be some duplication. Just curious if we could like make it very specific, like, hey, use this one, or a version of, something that we're using there.
Right. I have all of that in the roadmap. And I also want to show you another roadmap item that will probably make you very excited too.
Excellent.
Yeah, this concludes the demo. Any other question for the demo before I get back to the presentation?
I mean, we've talked about a lot of roadmap features. I think we're ready to move on to the roadmap. What about you, Pranav?
Okay.
You're muted, Pranav.
Oh, I was muted. I was like, I should hold this thing throughout the whole session.
Okay, cool. So showing you a little bit more content on the help. So in case you were taking notes of when I say, okay, prompt this, prompt that, you don't have to. We provide all of that in a community article document, which I want to show you. So here is a whole reference document on how to install, when to use the flow generation, general guidance, best practice, magical phrases, when to use hashtag, if it's option, it is not mandatory, what's the best scenario to use it, what does RAG mean, what's unsupported, right? So don't just, because we didn't have LLM supporting the whole world. There's some stuff that are difficult, and then we say those are out of scope. So if you see something that's not supported, you don't have to keep trying. It's not working now. And the video, this video itself will also get here. So you will have one-stop shop for everything you need to know how to prompt and how to work with this LLM. So the help is there.
Excellent.
And you can, for the viewers, don't worry, you'll find all these links in the video description.
Yes. So continuing our roadmap in the future. So next year, we're trying to make the LLM and the flow generation not just works, but also flexible. This means enhancing the flow recommendation with full context. So it's not going to just stay at the level of lookup record, wait for condition. It's not going to stay at that level. It's actually going to say, hey, look up strategic priority record, or wait for 50% of the condition. So it's just going to give you a bit more context, so you will know, hey, which recommendation to go and which direction to go. The second feature I want to highlight that it's on the roadmap for the coming year is adding personalization. So far, what I've shown you so far is the LLM that's fine-tuned and trained based on the best practice knowledge of ServiceNow. However, that may not know how your company does your flow, how your company creating your flow. So the vision there is not only you can supply a prompt, and if you want with hashtag, you can also add a example of existing flow. Say, hey, generate something that's similar to this. So generate a like. Hopefully in that sense, it will learn how your existing flow is structured, and then also using that as the best practice guidance, or maybe just the standard in your company. So, okay, learning that's the fashion of how you build flow and build something similar.
Would that be kind of like the ability to use templates and things within generative AI?
It's very similar to that, yeah. So you can supply an existing flow as template. We're still in the phase of defining this. Long-term goal for me is even for you to, maybe reference a knowledge article or reference a SharePoint article, so you can, learn all the terminology, all the acronym in your company. So basically, like onboarding this AI creator into an AI creator in your team, right? Because you don't just hire a ServiceNow developer and then start giving them requirement building flow. You probably need to onboard a colleague into your team. So we're trying to mimic that onboarding process. Yeah. But that's
ideally you do that.
Yes.
And I think that will be super helpful during change flows, because there will be a lot of change request flows which are way too similar. You just need to update a little bit. So I'm really curious how it will work there. Probably I have to wait till H2 2025 or maybe early.
Yeah, I think you have to wait a little bit. This is actually very difficult technology, and so my data scientists are spiking, experimenting as we speak, but I already told them this is what I want. So finally, I want to just tell you that the generating the flow with all the data pill. So technically it's supported on Subflow, but the input output of that Subflow is not supported. So this is something that we're trying to just round the corner, finishing the journey we started, and support Subflow input output. So let's say today, if you say, hey, build me a Subflow with 2 string input, it's not going to get that, but it will get that in the future. So this is also on the roadmap.
Awesome.
Cool. I think that actually concludes my presentation. Any questions? Let's open up the floor.
Let's see. We looked in the comments. I think we've answered most of the questions that have been popping in the comments. I tried to mention those during the stream here, but I don't see any. There's a question about Chuck's bread that he's baking, so I don't think that's relevant to what we're talking about today. Let's see. Yeah, no, I think it's great. It was overwhelmingly positive comments in the chat, so this is amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing all these features come to life.
And maybe, Kristy, you and I can do another live coding happy hour.
Yeah, just try this out.
Break it. Let's
break it.
Oh, Earl asked if you had a wish list for FlowGen.
Oh, I have a super long wish list. My engineering team has problem with that, but my wish list is super long. I want to also make flow generation work with all other generation use cases in the platform. So work with app generation, work with catalog generation, so that you don't have to generate and jump between different generations. It should generate everything for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something on the roadmap. Safe harbor.
Yeah, there we go. That's been a big question when we talked about AI to certain customers. That's been a big question, is like, when I do catalog generation, is it going to also generate the workflow behind it? So that's good to hear that that's on your radar and on the roadmap.
The teams are talking. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Kevin has a question about how often do you find yourself using subflows to call other flows? Rather, how well does the AI create subflows?
So the as I mentioned, the AI creates subflows, but it's not filling because it's not the subflow input and output are not supported. So it's not gonna know, hey, this component needs to use the input. So it's gonna leave those blank and it will show us like very incomplete, although it's trying to do its thing. So that's why I'm working on the subflow input output. That's on the critical path and a major feature that we need to roll out before we can say Subflow is ready to scale.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Well, this has been great, Jingfei. Do you have any more questions, Pranav, before we wrap it up?
No, I am just too excited to try it in next live coding happy hour. And then I'll
Awesome.
bombard Jingfei with all the questions.
It's like, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. Yeah, please let me know if there's a prompt that you see it needs to work in certain fashion, it's not working. I would be very happy to receive this feedback and improve accordingly.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Well, I assume that you'll be getting some feedback from the audience. They're never too scared to ask questions for sure. But
Please do.
yeah, totally. And thank you so much for your time today, Jingfei. It was amazing to see everything come into FlowGen.
Yeah.
For those of you in the audience, make sure that you like and subscribe so you don't miss any other notifications when we go live with another Creator Toolbox. And with that, we'll all say goodbye and see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.